Hello students, in this C# program we see how we can define our own classes and use it inside our program. So by default in our every program there is one class named program. Now we may define our own classes inside this program, C# program. So I am defining here my class as student. My class name is student here, and I am declaring some data members as roll number, then string name. Now I am defining some member functions here. So I am giving the return type as void and get data, which receives one input as R number, then one string argument nm. Now inside this get data function, I am storing these R number and nm parameter values to these data members. Roll number, I am assigning value R number to roll number field, so this is for storing the values to these data members, and for displaying I am declaring this function as a display, which is without argument. Here I am displaying the values of roll number and name on console dot write line roll number name. So name is, so this is my display function. So I am writing one class where two members, I am going to use here two data members as roll number and name, and two member functions as get data for storing the values inside these data members, and for displaying I am using here display function. Now this class is I am defining here. Now I want to use the object, or I want to define the object of my class inside this main function. So how we can define our class object? So I am using here student, and this is my object. I am using new keyword for defining my student object. So in this way we can define our object, means instance of our class. How we can define the object inside C#? Here is the class name, then instance name or object, and equal to new student. You can do this in single statement, declaring the object and instantiation at the same place, or you can use like this, declare only the class object and then initialize it like this. So you can do these two inside single line, or you can use two separate lines. Now if I want to run s1.input or get data, there is no any get data function. So by default it is private. If I am using here public keyword, then I can call it. Okay, so let's check at the dot property there is get data function. Now get data method is available, and we need to pass one integer argument and then string argument to this get data function. So .NET IDE gives me this suggestion, right? How many arguments you need to pass and which type of each argument. So it gives me the suggestion. According to this suggestion, I can pass the arguments. I am passing the constant value as 12 and name as suppose Archana. So this is the get data function calling, and now I am displaying the same data, but there is no any display function inside this list, so I can't call display method because by default this is a private. I need to give public modifier here inside class so that I can access or I can call it inside another function or outside the class. What is the concept behind this public modifier or public access specifier? We can call the member functions of this student class outside this class by using this public access modifier, right? By default, if we are not mentioning any modifier, then by default it is private. Okay, I can call this function within this class only if it is private and not outside this class. So if you want to call this get data or display function outside this class, then you need to give public access specifier or public modifier in front of it, so that we can call at the dot property of that particular object of that particular class. Now my program terminates here. Now I am using the last line as read key, and I am running this program. See what is the output. We are not inputting or we are not taking input from the user, only we passing the constant values to this get data function and display those stored values on console. So this is the simple program of defining class inside C# and creating or defining or declaring object of that same class inside main function. So this is my output. Roll number is 12 and name is Archana. This output we are getting because we are passing 12 value. This 12 value assigned to this roll number and Archana assigned to this name by using this get data function. By using get data function, roll number and name assigned these values, and by using display function we are displaying this roll number and name on console. So this is the concept or simple concept behind defining classes inside C#. So in my program there are two classes, one class named as student and another is program, which is by default there when we create any one console application. By default there is one class named program, and apart from this class I am defining my own class, custom class named as student, where roll number and name are data members, and get data and display, these are the methods or member functions of this student class. We are accessing these methods at the dot property of our object because they are public. So we can access public members at the dot property of that particular object, but we can't access the private data. If I am accessing S1, okay, if I am accessing S1 dot roll number here, then we can't access S1 dot roll number here. We can't access roll number S1 dot roll number because roll number is private, so we can't access S1 dot roll number here. If I change the modifier, access modifier as public here, then there is no any error. Now we see roll number is available here because I am putting public keyword in front of it, so now it is public, so I can access roll number and the dot property of that particular object. So in this way, by default the data members of our class are private. If you want to access them outside this class, then you need to give public access modifier to it. So this is the simple concept behind defining classes inside C# and using it. How we can declare the object of our class by using the class name and its variable. Here only declaration is done, and here our S1 object is instantiated, means memory will be allocated for this S1 at this time. Okay, inside this statement or at this statement only S1 is declared, and at this line memory will be allocated for this S1 variable, which is object of our student class. Now how many or how much memory will be allocated for this S1, that depends on how many data members you are declared inside this class. So for storing roll number and name, the memory will be allocated according to this according to these data members. Means 2 blocks will be allocated for this student object. In first block roll number will be stored, and second block name will be stored. If I declare so many data members here, so according to the number of data members or according to data members, memory will be allocated. Okay, for int there is 32 bit, means 4 byte memory will be allocated for this roll number, and for this name particular memory will be allocated. So 2 blocks will be allocated for this student object, S1 object. So memory will be allocated when we use a new keyword, and at this line memory will be allocated, and this S1 refers to that particular allocated memory. So in this way we define our own classes and instantiate or create our own object of our class and call methods of that particular class at the dot property. Thank you.